they do see that. Oh, I say, who's Big Mama? My baby sister. Baby sister. Look at the light on now. What? Look at the light on now. You're Martin's nephew, right?
Who? Yeah.
Come on, Tanya. You know Tanya?
Yeah.
I'm like the outcast.
Mrs. Reddick. Smile. Come on.
I talked to them today.
From all the light.
They don't like Russia all that much.
Hey, Brookie. Congratulations.
They call me dad. Talk to my dad.
Okay, baby.
No. I'm here for the fight.
Come on, Pam, say something.
Say something, baby.
I'm here for the fight, but I like talking.
Everybody sit. Don't do that. Don't sit.
I
don't like the camera.
I got it. Great.
I know.
Yeah, do it.
You blew that.
Yeah, that was in the magazine.
Yeah, right? Am I right, Ken?
Yeah, that was in the magazine.
Yeah, I know it.
I was so worried.
Respect. He is the Rodney Dangerfield of boxing, but he's going to correct that on Saturday night when he knocks out Kurt Johnson. It's going to be altogether different, and they're going to give him some respect because he fought 36 grueling rounds with Holyfield, and he joined the exclusive club of two of knocking Holyfield down. So this is going to be a super sensational evening at Mandalay Bay, where the Flying Fishes play, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the fans come out. We still have some tickets left. Rush on down, get your ticket, and be a part of 3 World Championship fights.
By the way, we always say, you must be having put an impact on us because we always say when we're playing pitchers.
Every time.
Every time. So Evan, I always, we're going to have to break this. I'm not so sure. I think he's better. He thinks he can do it.
Kevin is very talented, very skillful. Go, Terry, go, go. Timmy Austin is going to fight too. Now let's go. Call him out, put him on.
You know what the simple Don King impersonation is? Just show up with 30 at the end.
This is my Don King impersonation. Now, I did Marv Albert. You know Marv, the boxer.
Yes.
I did that a few weeks ago, but my Don King. How is it? What do you think?
This is great. This is wonderful. This is the highest form of flattery. But I'm here with Kevin Iole. What is your boxing show?
Las Vegas Punchline.
Las Vegas Punchline. This is really wonderful to be on the Las Vegas Punchline.
Technically, you're on Al Bernstein's show, and Al's on vacation, so we're doing his show.
We're taking it over.
Well, that's all right. We just go on and get a model because what we're doing is giving the people information now about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. When you do that with Kevin, he knows he's a journalist of the highest degree of integrity. He performs impeccably. He tells the where, the who, the when, the who, and how, and the what, and he does it with great aplomb.
Well, Don, if you read Michael Katz's column today, he says 600 tickets sold for this fight, and he quoted you saying, we need help. What's going on?
We do need help. This fight is a disaster. There's no need of saying that this fight is selling and is doing good when it's not doing good. They have the HBO completely threw us out in the winter. We're up the stream without a paddle, they would say in the ghetto. We're out there in the deep water and they're not doing anything to help us because they're trying to protect Lennox Lewis and call him the undisputed champion of the world, which is not true. John Ruiz is the WBA heavyweight champion of the world. They did nothing to help us to promote the fight. They are carrying it, but they're doing that to keep control of the issues of how it would go. So now we're here in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Mandalay Bay where the Flying Fishes play, and we need H-E-L-P. Help. We want the people to come because it ain't a card that's one that's going to be that you're going to be running a scam. This is a super great card. You got John Ruiz, the first Latino heavyweight champion of the world, fighting Kurt Johnson, undefeated, #1 contender, mandatory challenger. Say what you will of me, the kid from Canada can fight. All right, secondly, you got Tim Austin, 5 years, the bantamweight champion of the world, taking on Adnan Vargas from Mexico, a mandatory challenger, a great champion. And then you got Byron Mitchell, Super Byron Mitchell from Bama. He is a 168-pound super middleweight champion of the world, taking on former middleweight champion of the world, Julio Cesar Green from the Dominican Republic. We're not selling you no shortstop here. You get true dollar value for your entertainment dollar when you come and get a ticket for this great show. It hasn't been exposed right, but we are now doing that on Kevin Iole's Punchline and whoever else show we are borrowing. We are on the air. We are fighting for what it is right. Cat is right. This is one time Cat in his cynical and critical eye. He called himself decrying, but he has carried the message that we need reinforcement. We need medicine for the sick and the hungry. We need attendants to go out, nurses and doctors. So come on to the Mandalay Bay for the bloodletting and see us and be with us when we have Tony Alamo, a grand host. We have ambrosia, food for the gods and goddesses. We have entertainment to your delight. And we got a fight that's going to be magnificent, much better than the one you saw last week when they were playing in Indiana.
Kevin Iole, I'm Dave Pilkin, and it is the one and only Don King here on Al Bernstein.
He did come up for air there.
This is great, man. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be on Punchline.
I think it's a heck of a fight. The one question I've got, Don, is that is it become almost impossible to sell good guys out there? Neither of these guys is a troublemaker. They both are professional athletes. And it seems like the guys who are creating problems are the ones who get all the ink now. I mean, that's, I suppose, possibly.
Well, you know, that is true. That's a very good question because even in Africa, the baby that keeps his mouth shut, he dies on his mother's back. The baby that's always crying, they stick something in his mouth to stop the aggravation, he lives. You know what I mean? So what they got to do is, Kurt Johnson and John Ruiz, they got to make noise, but they don't have to make noise in that despicable manner. I do not say this to be appalling and disgusting in order to grab some attention, because it has a lasting effect. But what they do have to do is to say what they are, what they want to do, and be in the fight game. So I think that this is going to be a great one. I brought a new sponsor into the boxing business, a young African-American who has $500 million a year business, and it's the CMX Exchange. And that means he's a commodities broker. And so now in dealing with commodities, he decided he wanted to come into the sport and hang up his banner and start to being a part of the scene. I welcome him. His name is Demetrius Brown, Tony Demetrius Brown. We call him Tony Brown, and so he will be there. Everybody is coming, and they come and they go. But the fact of the matter is, boxing is here to stay, and the Mandalay Bay is stepping up to the plate in Las Vegas to make things happen that will keep Las Vegas alive. So come on down. Call the number 632-7777. 632-7777. Get your tickets down. Have a weekend extravaganza at the Mandalay Bay.
Has it ever been a bear market for you, Don?
You know, it's all right to have a bear market. It's all right to have a bull market, but it's the pig market that kills.
Well, hey, John, in all due respect to John Ruiz, and John Ruiz is going to be down here in just a few minutes and sit in with us for a few minutes before,
Great.
which is at 3:30. The question, and I guess the reason that there's a lack of respect is how he got the title. He didn't get the title by beating Lennox Lewis in the ring. The title was taken from Lennox Lewis. So don't you understand why the criticism is there?
No, but let me correct that. Kevin, with all due respect. The title wasn't taken from Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis opted to give it up. Lennox Lewis gave up the title in order to fight Grant rather than to fight Ruiz. And rather than to fight Ruiz, he made the decision to give up his belt, and the belt then came to Ruiz, who was the mandatory challenger who fought in the ring to get the belt in a fight-off. All right, so now the thing is, what's going to happen is they're trying to say that Lewis is the linear champion, but the linear champion has accountability and responsibility to follow the rules and regulations with the organization that established him as the champion. So, and the reason he don't get respected about that is about getting knocked out with David Tua 8 years ago, and they put him in a time capsule, and he ceased to look like he lived anymore. Well, he's not going to take that no more. It's over with that. We're going to be Rodney Dangerfield. We're going to take a lemon and make lemonade out of it. John Ruiz was up to the plate. He's got a system of fighting, a style that only you can understand if you can read and speak hieroglyphics. You mean, because you can't be cold in style.
I'm an expert in hieroglyphics. Did you know that?
And then you can declare, but you ain't facing him. So what you do is you be an analytic researcher that can tell how it is, because John Ruiz speaks hieroglyphics with his body movements. He's unorthodox. He's very difficult. He goes in, he's a contortionist. And so then all of a sudden he explodes with a sneaky right hand and Holyfield is down. One of the 2 times in his whole career that he's ever been down. So you got to understand something. I know that Kirk Johnson is a great fighter. I know he's a good fighter, but he didn't study Egyptian hieroglyphics. And so he's going to be in big trouble on Saturday night.
Heading down the home stretch, I'm Dave Cook with Kevin Iole, and our special guest is the one and only Don King, who now can add to his list of accomplishments, being included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very, very much. You know, rhythm is our business. And it's just a delight for me to be voted into the Hall of Fame, my nightclub, when things weren't as good as they are in America, and when they didn't let blacks and Latinos cross the line. All the great legends of the day that they denied an opportunity to play for white audiences are now in the Hall of Fame, and that's my club where I kept them going as a bridge over troubled waters during the difficult times when racism was prevailing. Now they see these guys, B.B. King, you know, you Muddy Waters, Bobby Blue Bland, you know, you got Jimmy Smith, Jimmy McGriff, you know, you got guys that Della Reese, you know, you got all of these people who used to play in my club, the 3 Sounds, you know, this is what you have, Ramsey Lewis. Then you had Earl Gardner. I bought Earl Gardner a Steinway piano 50 years ago. You know what I mean? So he can play in my club every year and play Mystery.
One of the greatest
out there, you know. And then you got Jimmy McGriff. I bought him a Hammond organ. And so he could then become, and in 50 years, he came back and played at the Hall of Fame thing. Lloyd Price and his big band with Slide Hampton was a tremendous thing. We gave a benefit for Donna Atkins, a little white girl that lost her sight through a robbery, to restore her sight. And it was a price for sight benefit. And we sold water for $1 glass. You could not get anything in that club unless you paid for it, and the money went to contributed toward getting this little girl the doctors and the medical care to restore her sight. That was 50 years ago. So this is something that you got to understand. We've been doing it a long time, and the Hall of Fame now has recognized that, and they have made where my club sat apart. And then on there, they got a big sign, the Don King sign, you know what I mean, for Don King's Corner Tavern. It's just magnificent. It's marvelous. Way before I ever came into any boxing game.
Well, I'm glad you explained that, because I was going to ask you to sing. I thought they got you in for your voice, so I'm glad you...
But I did sing, Kevin, you know, because I had Muhammad Ali used to come to my club and sing Stand By Me. You know, we used to have all the guys that would come, man, so I would get entertainment for them, and so I thought I could be an entertainer too.
You know what, Dave? I actually heard Don sing because I heard him sing to Felix Trinidad when he was fighting David Reed.
My shining star, you are my shining star. Don't you go away.
I was there when he said it.
Oh, baby. Yes, yes, and Tito is my shining star, and I refuse to let him go away.
Well, I'll tell you what, Don, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have Las Vegas Punchline. We will have the WBA heavyweight champion.
Oh, I love you.
That's it for the Al Bernstein Sports Party. This is Dave Durkin and Kevin Ireland.
This is so great, man. This is so great.
We'll be back after this.
I'll pay you $5 to shut up.
How's your wife doing, man? Everything good?
Do you have a couple seconds more?
Yes, yes, I came for you. I wouldn't even be here for you.
Okay. See you guys. Thanks, Mario.
Just a little water. Party where we will dine with like kings. We'll have ambrosia for the gods. We'll have dancing girls. We'll have tinkling cymbals. We'll drink wine. We'll have everything that's there for a real gusto delight. And then maybe I can consider that question, because right now I'm focused single-mindedly on John Ruiz knocking out Kurt Johnson because it's independence. Glory, that's why I call the fight Challenge to Glory, Perception and Reality. Perception-wise, they don't see Johnny. The reality is Johnny is a hard rock to crack, and he's going to be out there doing his job on this show. And this is another thing. They asked about the tickets and the critical way we are. Yes, it is. That is why I'm paying all these fighters on this show, other than the two fighters on the top. HBO is paying for Kurt Johnson and John Ruiz, and for Timmy Austin and Ednan Vargas. Don King personally is paying for every other fight on that card, and they go back and they whisper in these guys and say, well, you ain't getting this much, you ain't getting that much, as though I'm making a lot of money, because right now it's full declaration of whatever it is. Right. Ain't no more hiding and seek no more. So they got to understand that I'm paying for this show to make sure that these guys get opportunity in the land of opportunity, because that's what it's all about. So when they be crying and looking at me with a jaundiced eye, I'm giving this money up so the people in the live gate can see a great show. Only 2 matches will be on HBO.
Yeah, and Tim, we want to mention the other guys in the card as well. Tim Austin is a great fighter, the Cincinnati Kid.
Wonderful fighter. You know what?
His 9th title defense.
Listen, this guy's done a tremendous job. He's been 5 years the world champion. He's taking on a very formidable opponent in Ednan Vargas. And there's a thing here that all of these guys deserve their just due, and I'm down to the guys that's fighting for the underprivileged, the downtrodden, and denied. And I get crucified, but in that crucifixion, I recognize you got to be crucified before you can get redemption. And so I go with pain to get the gain. I understand what it's all about, and we're going to keep on working, because I stand between them and going into abject poverty and slavery, because they will not be able to get the money once Don King is gone. The broadcasters get this thing where they can have it complete control. Then they're going to do either dance to their music or you don't dance. And when they be fighting me, they're fighting themselves. So what I'm saying here is we're going to fight for freedom together, black and white alike, working together, and working together works. We're at the Mandalay Bay where the Flying Fishes play, and we're going to have a great show for you. And whatever I pay for, I will pay for. Whatever HBO pay for, we'll pay for. But the public as a whole will get a great show in the consensus, and it's going to be wonderful that we all be able to work together and make it happen. So call now, 632-7777, 632-7777, 702 is the area code.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, let me give another phone number out, 365-9200, because we have one pair of tickets that people don't have to reach in their pockets, because you were nice enough to give us the pair of tickets. So
365-9200?
365-9200.
365-9200? Oh, what a great number that is. 365-9200?
I think...
Call now.
Don King promoted a fight in Kinshasa, Zaire. If you can tell me both fighters who fought in that fight, Kinshasa, Zaire, Don, what year was that? It was 1974?
1974. Call now. Quick, we are waiting. The phone lines are jumping. Call now with Kevin Ireland and Punchline. Give him that answer quick, because the first one that calls is going to get the tickets to a world championship fight with John Ruiz and Kurt Johnson. Call now. 365-9200. 365-9200. Call now.
And then if you call 365-9200 and you get it wrong, you have to call 632-7777 and buy a ticket.
Call now.
I know that.
This is so great, man. It's just great to be on with a great radio interviewer, a great journalist, and to be here and talk on Punchline or whoever we borrow from ESPN to make sure that boxing is at its best, to give the information of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And that's what we're about doing here at the Mandalay Bay. Are we hurting? Yes, we're hurting. But can you help it? Yes, you can help. Buy your tickets tickets now, because when you buy your tickets, you're going to see a great show. We're not asking for charity, you know what I mean? We're not asking you to give us a deal. We're asking you to come and see something that's real, a great fight between Kurt Johnson and John Ruiz, first Latino heavyweight champion of the world. And don't forget, Kurt Johnson is Canadian, and we are Americans. When we Americans must unify ourselves in solidarity and together, this community unity. And we're not going to allow no foreigner to come in and take away our crown. We love you, Canada, but you better come in here and support Kurt Johnson, because we're going to support John Ruiz.
That was Don King. If you didn't know, if you couldn't tell, that is
I had no idea.
Dave, that was tough. 365-9200 if you want to win a pair of tickets to the heavyweight championship fight on Saturday night. Don, while we wait for some calls, because I think people are overwhelmed. They might be blowing out the radio there as we listen. 365-9200. Let's ask you another question. What's going on with you and Mike Tyson? Because certainly that lawsuit is still out there, or is there settlement talks being...
Well, you know what, Mike Tyson and myself, that's the pure sense of stupidity on both our parts for we to be washing our laundry for public consumption, when in effect, Tyson should know by now that everything that they told him in regards to me has proven to be a lie. What makes him think that when he gets to the courtroom it's going to be any different? He said they're going to get him more money. He has gotten less money. When he was with us, Kevin, it was the money that was contributed. What he drew was entitlements. He got a draw on his entitlements. And the draw on his entitlements with all the money going into the pot. What went into the pot? It went into the pot $25 million for Peter McNeely for 10 rounds. You could beat Peter McNeely, and then
I'll give him a run for his money.
Absolutely, for $25 million, and then he's coming out of jail now as a convicted rapist. Not saying whether he's guilty or not guilty. That ain't my prerogative. But to say that I could get him $25 million to put into the pot on a 10-round fight with Peter McNeely, that's doing something. $30 million for Bruno. Bruno crossed himself 29 times coming to the ring, and he got $30 million to go into the pot for Bruno. $25 million for Bruce Seldon. A left hook and the wind knocked him out. And so that's $25 million for Bruce Seldon, $30 million for Holyfield. He loses to Holyfield. $30 million again to fight Holyfield that goes into the pot, and he bites Holyfield. Now he leaves me, and he's been getting $4 million, $2 million, $6 million, $8 million. I'm telling you something, even Ray Charles can see this, that there's something wrong with this picture. If these holier endowed guys like Finkel, who are supposed to be his manager advisor, delivers this man into the den of iniquity and get him beat up and paid less than anybody ever did, it's the worst job of misguided emotionalism I've ever seen, and misguided direction that I've ever seen. And anybody else see that except me and Mike Tyson? We fight each other. This is ridiculous.
Is there closure? Have you had any negotiations at all about a settlement, or is it going to go to trial? And if it does, when will it go?
Well, you know, I can't answer any of those questions. Whenever it go to trial, the judge was set that date. It was scheduled for May, and they pushed it off so that he could go out and fight in June. Now, truthfully speaking, without any equivocation, in June, the man I saw fighting Lennox Lewis, I had never saw before in my life in the ring.
You look bad.
I never seen that Mike Tyson. He became a human punching bag. He told them from the beginning that he wasn't ready, that he needed 2 more fights. He also said something that was very interesting. He said, I wouldn't give him a chance. Well, that's the most ridiculous lie I've ever heard, because in your column, Kevin, I made the appeal for him, and made a proposal and laid out a plan where he could fight 5 or 6 guys, make $300 million, and don't fight Lewis until he had fought the 5 or 6 guys. And so somebody must be blinding him or not let him read the Review Journal, because the Review Journal had it live in living color, black and white print, and that at that time we could have saved him from that horrible, despicable beating that he took on June 8th.
A bargain at 50 cents a day, right?
Yes. You know, it's unbelievable. And it happened to lucky that I'm on this radio show with Kevin Ioli, who was the top journalist for the Review Journal, who printed the story of my appeal with a plan, and I told him not to be a kamikaze. I said, because the Japanese is the kamikaze. There's a banzai, and they dive into the ship with Pearl Harbor. I say, don't be a kamikaze, because you ain't no Japanese, you black. I don't go in that ring like that, because blacks can't commit kamikaze. I say, so you got to, I say, tell him, Kevin, and Kevin wrote it. He gave me the okay. He said, it shouldn't be Lewis. Lewis is at his finest hour. You can't beat him at this time. He's a brilliant performer. Here's the plan for you. Come and fight Ruiz, fight Holyfield, fight Rockman, and fight Layman Brewster, and make all these millions and come out as a champion. And then we go after Lennox Lewis. By that time, he'll be prepared mentally, psychologically, spiritually, and physically. He didn't take that advice, or they held it from him, but it certainly was in print in the Review Journal, written by none other than incomparable Kevin Iole.
We're going to let Dawn towel off for about a minute or two here while we take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue with